Ah! Rage, baby, rage, 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 rage. Spirit, speak through me. Honor my coaches, honor my teachers, honor the sacred rage of the feminine. Yo, just like preparing for this talk, I feel this intense energy. Rage, rage, rage. Wow, what a beautiful fucking energy. Emotion, action. So where to begin? I feel like it's the perfect talk, seeing as I'm red hot with rage. I have red hair now. Feels very appropriate as we enter Aries, are in Aries. I'm an Aries fire being. I have so much fire. That's why I do so much, because I am action-oriented, growth-oriented, forward-moving, dying, being reborn. Anger is fire. Fire is change, creation, death, beauty. I just love it. I really honor fire. And I guess rage is in the honoring of fire, this element of such profound magnitude. When we found fire, we evolved as a people. We cannot live now without fire if we think about everything that relies on this energy, this heat. And so if we relate it back to the emotion of rage, rage is therefore a sacred element to our emotional expression. And yet it is so shamed or feared or misunderstood. And so I'm here to just chat a little bit about my own journey with anger. As a woman, going through what I've been through, I had a lot of reason to be angry, and yet I continued to be so nice and let my pain be kept in my quiet bedroom, grieving, crying, not allowing that rage to settle. For I wanted to be nice, I wanted to be accommodating. I didn't really know even where this anger was. There was never a safe place to express it. And I left home, I started traveling. I was living in LA for a time, and something sparked, a conversation sparked this anger in me. And rather than kind of try to suppress it or, embody it into this like toxic internal rage, I went on a cycling trip and I cycled through Venice Boulevard. I listened to rap music. I started screaming. I was playing hip hop, and I really channeled this rage through my body. And it felt so good to move it, to dance it. And that's why, I don't have abs and strong physical body for nothing, because I channel my rage into physical movement. And so once I actually allowed that rage to come through and to be expressed in a healthy manner, things started to change in my life. I let myself be angry, and through that allowing myself to be angry, I started to move out of victim and into powerful fucking bitch and witch and, feared. I was feared because in that embodiment, there is a level of boundaries that get set where people no longer fuck with you. And I needed to embody that because I was being taken advantage of and being manipulated due to a previous violation. And so yes, women, your rage is so sacred. There is a reason you are angry. So that's a key thing. You don't just get angry for nothing. And I always say this to people. Emotions arise because there's a trigger. There's something there that needs to be felt, needs to be expressed. When we internalize that anger, that is how we cause disease. People fear anger because they think it's violent or abusive. But internalizing anger is exceptionally abusive and violent towards yourself. And that's why Gabor Mate, brilliant trauma therapist, said, nice girls die. Nice girls die young because we get ill from internalizing our rage. That is the manifestation of disease, particularly womb trauma. Like that, I mean, I look at all of the PMS symptoms, cervical cancer, like gut issues, cancer, that is that disease of unfelt emotion, particularly rage, because it's one of the expressions that are still so taboo. And so how do we channel this rage? How do we find healthy expression? And this video is inspired by my money course, because so many of the women in the course were also like tapping into this feeling of like anger. And I've been doing Krav Maga, which is self-defense training, and it's brought up so much fight response because of a trauma of not being able to fight or flee. I was frozen. I then had to now activate the fight so that in situations where a guy's like touching my ass or, you know, brushing up into my space, I'm not freezing, but I'm actually being like confrontational and like, what the fuck, get out of my space. You know, I won't necessarily bring on my Krav Maga moves, but if you do threaten me, I know how to stand up for myself. And this is essential for women because we are living in a fucking culture that is still very abusive. I mean, I live in a country where rape happens. It's like scary, the statistic, how often women are being raped and how little self-defense training we actually are given. And this is going to be a movement that comes where all women from young ages are trained in how to defend themselves, how to protect their space, their bodies. Yeah, that's something that came through that needs to happen. Because in doing this training, I can walk on the streets with a different level of confidence for my self-security. I'm so tired of living in a world where I have to like double check everywhere I go, lock the doors, feel unsafe in just living, in just being a woman. That's enough to make me really fucking angry. And you know, cursing, oh shame, she's not very polite, she's not very nice, using the word witch and slut and bitch and dyke and censoring me. Well, guess what? It's not going anywhere. It's here to trigger, it's here to activate because we need action. You know, we can talk and philosophize and grieve, but like there's also this very real necessary part of action, of activism, of rage. I mean, look at all the beautiful movements that have taken place. Black Lives Matter, feminist movements, that was birthed of bloody anger. If we just sit in victim and sadness, nothing really changes. I read a beautiful quote today that said, justice isn't always there when you call, but it's always on time. And I really love that. I really love that because my anger brought me to forgiveness, and I wrote a blog post about this because, you know, waiting around for justice, we can wait our whole lives and end up not living our lives. And so how do we channel our anger? How do we take action steps to make this world a safer and beautiful place? I bless Susan Weed, my fucking angry shamanic teacher that I did my shamanic witch initiation and apprenticeship with. And we had to sign like a legal document that we wouldn't sue her because she's so frightening. I remember driving onto her land and literally feeling like my heart racing, my palms sweating, because I knew I was stepping onto a land where this was a fierce teacher. Your teacher should make you afraid because she's going to activate and break down your obstacles to your own evolution. We're too nice and we keep saving each other. I remember on our apprenticeship, there was a pregnant woman and Susan was screaming. And this is another thing. She screams at you, not at you, but at the actions that you've taken or not taken, because you're not listening, you're not paying attention. And so she'll scream at you, and her thing is to learn to take criticism. and to not take it personally, because it's not about you, it's about your actions. And aren't you here to learn better actions, to stop playing small, to stop being distracted, to stop saving other women instead of letting them like regain their own sovereignty and strength? So she was screaming at this pregnant woman who kept forgetting the prayers, which is disrespectful because we're talking about prayer, we're talking about ceremony. And yeah, Susan started screaming, and then this other lady was trying to save her and be like, don't shout at her, she's pregnant. And Susan was like, excuse me? This pregnant woman is one of the most powerful women in this group because she's pregnant. She doesn't need your saving. And the woman actually didn't want to be saved. She needed to go through that expression of rage so she could meet her own obstacles to not listening, to not paying attention, to being distracted in her life, which is why she never got things done. And so this whole like saving people as well, which also takes a part in cancel culture, is really destructive. If someone's asking for help and support, of course, do it and be it. But we must be very careful where we're stepping out of line and not letting somebody go through their journey, go through their process of rage or breakdown or breakthrough. And so, yeah, it was really transformative to be screamed at. I really needed to be screamed at. I needed to be broken out of like my fear of criticism, my fear of like not always being liked. I always wanted to be the teacher's pet. I really wanted everyone to like me. I wanted Susan to think I was so good. And when she screamed at me for things that I was doing wrong, it was like, wow, okay, this is what I missed in my childhood. This is what I missed, growing up, because I want to do better, feel better, live a life that is truer to the real strength that I have inside of me. And so, yeah, it was such an embodied experience of how to see anger as such a gift. And it served me hugely in my life. And so I am that teacher, and I'm still navigating the full expression of how to do that with my one-on-one clients, where I'm not holding back from saying, hold up, you're repeating the same story here. You're paying me to coach you, and so I'm going to tell you, bitch, like enough is enough. If you're not going to take actions, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time and your money. Because I'm not in it for the type of long overdue therapy where we talk and talk for hours and hours and I keep you on this thread. I'm here for transformation, for death and rebirth. Time to take action. Time is our only limited resource in this life. We don't have forever. If you want to live a joyous life, there's going to be some cucky stuff that needs to be felt, expressed, healed, seen. And of course, on the flip side, we don't always want to be in this activated space. How do we move it? Do some boxing, do some self-defense. There's a reason I swim in the ocean like 2 times, every second day. Get in nature. The beautiful thing that Susan did was she made the woman who was like trying to protect the other lady and who started then screaming and letting go of all of her rage, place your hands on the earth, she says. Place your hands on the earth. Ask the mother to pull and feed this rage into the soil and transmute that energy for healing, that energy for creating life, for growing plants. So if you do feel overwhelmed by your rage, that's always a beautiful thing to do. Place your hands on the earth, let mama take that rage and use it for usable energy. It is energy. So if you don't have a expression of your rage, that's a safe place to box or scream into a pillow. Oh my God, my car, I'm shouting in my car, I'm listening to hip hop, I'm really activating my throat. If your throat's not activated, your pussy's not activated, and your life feels like this containment. So yeah, so much anger, so much beautiful sacred rage. For anger is powerful. There's a reason it's feared. There's a reason it's shamed. And if you can flip that and use that power for your own empowerment, not to destroy or destruct or hurt others, but to actually activate your own healing, your own freedom, your own yeah, like freedom, your own freedom.